This is Beer in Front, part of the Odd Pods Media Network and the Beer Media Group. Sometimes the beer in front of you is the best one yet. I'll talk to people around the beer world and get their stories all about beer. That's Beer in Front, and it's coming up now. Welcome to episode 228 of Beer in Front. I'm your host, Dave Zalatoris, and Beer in Front is a proud Odd Pods Media Network member and charter member of the Beer Media Group. Today's show, I'm having on Abby George. She's the co-owner of Barrels Bottles. They're located in Golden, Colorado, and on Wednesday, October 9th, they're hosting the Krispy King Lager Competition. This is really cool. Abby's a fun person. That was a good chat, so stay tuned for that. I had a show out a couple days ago with Shalonda White, Afro Beer Chick, so there were two shows this week. So if you missed the one that came out on Monday, you could check that one out. That was a fun time as well. Starting next week, all the shows, they're not going to be out on Mondays anymore. I'm going to put them out late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning for your commute. So look for that upcoming. I'm going to have a new weekly release date to coincide with my days off at work. So there'll be a slight change when the show comes out, but it's still going to come out every week. So stay tuned. Abby George is coming up next. You've probably heard for years that this is going to be the year of the lager. Well, a stop clock is right twice a day. 2024 has seen so many great lagers available all across the country. For those listening in the Denver area or attending the Great American Beer Festival this year, the Krispy King Lager Competition will be held on Wednesday, October 9th at Barrels Bottles Brewery in Golden, Colorado. Abby George is the co-owner of Barrels Bottles and is joining me now to talk Krispy King. Abby, thank you so much for coming on.
Of course. Thanks for having me, Dave. We're excited for the event and to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I love the idea about this. How did the Krispy King Lager Competition, how did this come about?
You know, we have to give credit to our brewer, Chris Munda. He actually came up with the idea a few years ago. He's going on 3 years brewing with us, and he likes to drink, crisp lagers, and he wanted to kind of, he loves Alpha King as well, the big hoppy competition, and he likes to sit around and drink lagers with his friends. So he kind of put these two things together, and kind of came up with, brought it to our attention saying, hey, can we do something with my friends, like other beer enthusiasts and brewers? And so so let's go ahead and do that. That was the first one. And then the second year kind of grew a little bit more. And then last year when we were finishing the second one, we're like, you know what, we're going to make this bigger because it has the potential to grow. Mm-hmm. So then all together between the three of us, between Chris, our brewer, my husband, Zach, and myself, we just, we're like, this has the potential to go somewhere. So that's kind of where it came from.
Yeah, and it's like the perfect time because everyone's in the Denver area to begin with that week for the GABF.
Yep, exactly. And being able to sit around and drink crisp, light lagers, and with the fall in the air, it's perfect timing.
So you mentioned this is the third year. Now, looking at the website, you're going to have 35 esteemed breweries from coast to coast that are participating this year. Did you ever think it's going to grow to what it is now?
I guess we had hoped, but we never knew it was going to get this big. We have quite the waiting list too. People, they keep hearing about it and wanting to get into it. But we are privileged enough to have, just a widely known brewery called Bierstadt Lager House. And Ashley Carter, the owner and brewer, her and I are really good friends. So I know great lager. And so it has only made sense to, celebrate something that, that is like the format of Alpha King, but with lagers.
Well, one of the breweries that's participating is Fair State Brewing Cooperative out of Minnesota. I have their pills here that I'm going to pour. Unfortunately, that's like the only brewery of the ones participating in Krispy King that I'm able to get here in Chicago. So I'm excited to crack this one open because I had not had their Pilsner yet. So while I'm cracking open the pills from Fair State, what else can people expect when they come out for the competition?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'm jealous because I don't think I've ever had that beer either. So I'm excited to have some of their beer when they're here. But some of the things they can expect is this competition is a little bit different as we're judging it on the 6th. So a few days ahead of the actual event, everything will be judged. And a little bit different than Alpha King is all the beers that were judged will be on for them to taste. So we're selling like 14-ounce glasses or, pints, not pints, but if you will, pours for everyone to try. And so you can just try different things. And then as kind of fun with different events is we have food specials. We have a really cool cigar lounge. This guy comes with this really awesome trailer and, hits buttons and this low luxury cigar trailer comes down and you can buy different cigars and enjoy it while you sip on a nice lager. We have a local lady who makes trucker hats and it's called Tattered and Torn. She makes really cool, any kind of designs you want. So she presses them right there. We have a really cool free arcade bus, live music, lager donuts. So there's a lot of things for people to do besides sipping on some esteemed great lagers. So it's going to be a fun time for all, we hope.
You had me sold at lager donuts and make your own trucker hat and then their cigar. Sign me up. I am actually off that day, but before, I heard about this, I'm working for somebody that day. I'm like, I work for an airline. I mean, I know it's a hard ticket to get to Denver that week because all the flights are full and I have to fly standby, but next year, I'm going to keep that in mind for lager donuts and trucker hats.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, the another brewery you probably heard of, Cannonball Creek, obviously here in Golden, that we're also great friends with. Their bar room manager, her name's Nikki, and she makes donuts. So again, 3 years ago, we were talking to her, and we said, "Hey, that would be really cool if you could make kind of a lager, like a donut with lager beer." She's like, "That's a great idea." So her little business called Needful Rings. It's been taking off and this is the 3rd year she's been with us also to make donuts. And this year all the brewers that are participating, they get a little gift bag and each will have a lager donut in it, and she's going to be selling them there too. So it's just a fun little spin, especially with the name Krispy King instead of Krispy Kreme. Is still that little play on all the words.
Now, the donuts, are they sweet or how do the donuts taste?
I think only if you have a really refined palate can you really pick up on the lager. She puts different toppings on it, like she has, depending on which how she's feeling that day, but definitely light in color. In the past, she's used one of our lagers. I just told her to grab one from Cannonball, so that does kind of have that little bit of that malty, little bit of hop taste to it, but it's actually, I think it's a great balance of flavors.
Oh yeah, I'm going to have to try those. Well, this one from Fair State, this is phenomenal. This is just an absolute crisp, clean lager. This is only 4.9% alcohol. All of the beers there at the competition, they're all pretty low in ABV compared to other beer festivals, right?
Correct. And that's one thing that's really attracts a lot of different people is last year, I think the average ABV we had was 4.9% out of the 20 breweries we had then. It's a little bit higher this year on average. I think we're about 5.4 at the moment. The brewers still have the chance to change their beer if they have to, all the way up until they bring it to us by next Wednesday. So we feel it'll stay around there. Is that the Italian pills from Fair State or just their Pilsner?
No, this is the regular pills. Had I known they had an Italian, I would have picked it up. But I think I might have had one more from them like a year or so ago, but this is the only one that I could find here in the Chicagoland area. But this is excellent. Yeah,
that's what they're scheduled to submit as their Italian Pilsner.
Oh.
And I'm looking at their list here. It says it's a 4.2, and it's called Tomorrow is Today. Is the name of their beer. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, hopefully they could send that down the expressway down here to Chicago. I like to try that one. But that's really cool with everything being such, so lower in alcohol. A lot of beer festivals, like you need an Uber because you're staggering out of there. Everything that's at a reasonable ABV, you could have a couple different samples and you're not going to be
Exactly.
drunk. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And another great thing we're providing is we do have two smaller buses that are going to be running from the Denver Convention Center to our location from 3 to 7. So hopefully some people will take advantage of that as well. Especially if they've imbibed a little bit too much, they can always get back to Denver if they need to by the buses we're providing.
Oh, cool. I'll have to tell my friend, because I have a friend that comes on every year because he lives in the Denver area and goes to the GABF. So he's a fellow podcaster. So I told him about this, last week, and he's going to try to make it out, but I'll let him know that there's buses there too.
Yep. Awesome. Yeah, that'd be great. We're hoping people take advantage of it.
Yeah. Now, the brewery itself, Barrels and Bottles, you guys opened up in 2013. What made you decide, let's open up a brewery?
That's funny. Definitely alcohol was involved in that decision making, but my husband and I were living overseas where we had met. He was in the Marines. I used to work for the military, and we did a backpacking trip through Europe, and we were in Amsterdam, and first part of our trip, and we're like, we should own a bar. We're sitting at a bar, you just drinking, just enjoying.
Yeah.
And that's where it came from initially, and then it just kept growing. The different, let's try this, let's do this, and so we knew we wanted to have beer, wine, food, and friends. So we kind of had we opened a brew pub for that reason. So our original location opened in downtown Golden, across the street from Coors. You could throw a can, it would land on their property. But it was great having, that location was just great to have. And then an opportunity came available for us to buy a building in late 2018. And we were supposed to open March 2020 in that location. So, so that kind of put a little damper on things. But earlier this year, we finally closed our original location because we rented that and we own the other building. And it's next to our home. So we have many things that made it great for us to close the other location and just have the one. It's much larger, and obviously we own compared to rent. But we just really enjoyed different beers and wanted to have a brewery. So it kind of just developed into that.
Yeah, and you're not just a lager brewery, if that's what people are getting from this. Looking on your website, you have a wide variety of styles for all palates and a food menu. I just got home from work. I haven't eaten yet. I'm hungry looking at the food menu. So everything there looks great. Do you have a beer that's like a flagship or one that, keeps the lights on?
We do. We have, I was talking with our brewer and my husband earlier today about that. Obviously, being in business for 11 years, we've had a lot of different beers, but the one that's really carried on the longest is an orange creamsicle. It's a blonde ale. But since Chris has been with us, our brewer, we've really developed some more staple flagships to include. We have one that we submitted last year. It's called our Nippolis Cage. It's an American Pilsner. That's a fun one. And our Camp George West Hellas that we are submitting into the competition. Who Called the Hops is a hazy. And then we have another one. It's called the Human Fund. It's a IPA, kind of a West Coast style. So those have fastly became our flagships in the last 3 years, and that we brew the most and people really look forward to.
I mean, I was just going to mention the beer names because I saw Human Fund and you have a dime bag beer. So whoever's in charge of the beer names needs a raise.
All right. Well, what is funny? We actually started a dry erase board for our staff.
Okay.
And sometimes people just will come up with something and it gets on the board.
Yeah.
A lot of things get canceled out too on the names because sometimes you're like, that's not going to fly.
Yeah.
But, sometimes it just comes out to be, sometimes we're at someone else's place drinking, having a good time, and somebody says something and I just record it on my phone. We keep ideas that way. So I don't know how it happens. We just come together and think of things. It's hard to name beers though. It really is.
Especially something that hasn't been used before.
Yeah,
everybody's looking on Untapped to look at, all right, what's been used before or whatever, especially if something's trendy. I know like the day after it happened, there was like 100 Hawk Tua beers. I'm like, you people are clowns. Who's coming up with this?
Yeah, that's so true. We had a bunch of references for when Prince died and then also David Bowie. We had a couple back then that were fun, but obviously they only really last for like a one-off and that's about it. But yeah, we try to stay away from those trendy things. Yeah. We just try to have fun names.
Now, what else can people expect at the brewery? Because looking at the pictures on the website, it looks like a really cool neighborhood type of place that has great beer and food.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about our neighborhood brewery, which is exactly how is our model, it is fun. We have a small staff, we have great neighbors, and we really attract the people that want to find the great beer. Also, what's wonderful about our neighborhood is there's also a nice towny bar across the street that also serves a great purpose, and we have a great relationship with them. So a lot of parking, they allow us to do parking over there. But at this event, it's just going to be a great time for live music, for friends. I mean, we get to see a bunch of our friends we only get to see once or twice a year, and just have a great time with it. We're hoping. So last year, Bagby Beer won first place in this, and obviously, they're not in business anymore. But Jeff is coming in, and so he should be here for the event to put the cape on one more time. Because when you win, you get to wear a big red cape, and you give you a crown, and we have a stem from a broken, keg that we paint gold, and it's like a staff that get to carry around, and they get a medal. So we're hoping if he's here, he gets to put on the cape and walk around, one time before we announce the winner. So it's just a lot of fun smack talking and just camaraderie around the whole industry.
Back to the festival, who are the judges for Krispy Kreme? And do you judge this like a typical fest, or do you use like a different criteria for lagers?
So the judges the past 3 years has been Ashley and Bill from Bierstadt. So they don't enter competitions. That's just kind of their motto with things. And of course, reaching out to, two of the most lager professionals that I know. So Ashley, like I said, she's been great. She was also really instrumental in us getting some of these other breweries here, because she was help us put in touch with these people. So we have Ashley Carter and Bill I that are judges, and then also another gentleman named Jamie Williams, who is a BCJP certified judge. He's a previous brewery owner, worked for a yeast company for a lot of years. So three well-known industry judges. So we're excited for that as well this year.
You have some really good sponsors on board for this year. Who's helping to make the Krispy King Lager Competition the success that it is?
It really comes down to the breweries, because they want to do it. That's the number one success of this whole event. And I know we mentioned Bierstadt a few times, but they really have been instrumental in helping us. They not only volunteer their time to judge, just talking with Ashley, like I said earlier, she was really able to put us in touch and make it much bigger this year. So I really want to thank them. And like you said, the top 3 sponsors are huge. And what we did was we reached out to different suppliers that we personally use, and that are also kind of nationwide. So we reached out to those 3, and then Grandstand is providing some of the glassware for the event. And then On Tap Credit Union, which is credit union here in Golden that used to be Coors Credit Union. Now it's On Tap, and they do a lot of business with a lot of breweries across the whole country. So those are our top 5 sponsors. But honestly, it really is the people, because they want to come out and drink the beer and make us want to do this event bigger and bigger each year.
Oh, well, that's great. I can't make it this year, but 2025, yeah, I'm definitely there. And if Fair State's going to bring the pills next year, I'm already judging this one high, because this one is excellent.
Nice. Yeah. And to answer your question, so the judging, basically when the brewery signed up, we had a form, and basically we just said a crispy lager is notably sharp, clean cut, and a crisp beer will be dry, meaning it has very low residue of sugars, and its flavor won't linger in your mouth after you've taken a sip. And lagers will be judged based off the following criteria: drinkability, crushability, no discernible off flavors, overall flavor, body color, carbonation, perceived ABV, and overall crispness. So the judges will not know what the style is going into the first round. The final round, they'll know the style, but they still obviously won't know the brewery. And we just have a really simple scorecard that Ashley and Bill wanted to use, and so they just base it on those things: crushability, how crisp, clear, those kind of things.
I'm looking forward to going online and see who won this. This is such a cool thing. Abby, I appreciate it so much for coming on, talking about the competition and talking about the brewery itself. So if you're listening and if you're in the Denver area, Wednesday, October 9th, Barrels and Bottles Brewery. They're located at 1055 Orchard Street in Golden, Colorado. It's the third Krispy King Lager Competition. It will be between 3 and 7 p.m. with the awards announced at 6 p.m. So go check it out. Abby, I really appreciate you coming on to talk today. Enjoy the competition.
Thank you. And thanks, Staves, for the opportunity for us to talk about something we really like doing, and for the support with this. It's definitely really very well appreciated. Thank you.
Yes. Well, let's thank Emily from Radcraft, because Emily put all this together. Emily's the best.
Yeah, she is. I've actually known her since before we opened the brewery. So been great friends with her for a long time. So it's only natural to connect with her to help us spread the word about this.
That's another reason I have to get out there next year to meet Emily in person.
Oh, yeah. She's a lovely person. So sweet. So, yes.
All right. Well, Abby, thanks so much again. I really do appreciate it. And all the best with the competition, Krispy King Lager Competition, next week on October the 9th.
Thanks, Dave. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks. You too.
Hey, this is the Grab and Brisket Podcast. Join us every Monday where we talk about the latest trends in barbecue, interviews with world top pitmasters, celebrity cooks,
like Wee Man from Jackass,
and musicians.
Like Rich O'Toole?
So check us out. We do beer reviews, barbecue fails.
So many fires.
Dude, a lot of people just burn their houses down for no reason.
We also talk about cocaine hippos versus meth gators,
Learn how to make some tailgate gravy.
altercations with Texas Rangers.
People throwing Reese's peanut butter cups.
Yeah, so check out grabthebrisket.com for podcast info, viral social media posts, and so much more.
All right. The beer from Illinois I'm going to have Della. This is from Old Irving Brewing. This is a Kolsch, and this won a silver medal at the 2021 Great American Beer Festival. And talking about lagers on the episode, so I figure I'll have a good one from the state of Illinois, and Della is definitely a great one. So let's crack this one open. That's an award-winning open right there. Beautiful color here with Della. This one checks in at 5.2% alcohol. Lovely aroma. I really like this. It's just a clean, crisp smelling beer. It's beer smelling beer. This smells phenomenal. Yeah, that's wonderful. Great malt profile here. Little bit of bitterness, not a lot. I really like this one. This is just a great Kolsch from Old Irving. You may think of them as just an IPA place, but no. Their lagers, their Kolsch is great. Their barrel age program is fantastic. Everything from them I like. And it helps that I could park right across the street when I go to work. And then I could just, on my way home, I could just stop and pick something up like Della. So if you see this, you could pick it up all around Chicagoland. Liquor stores, bottle shops, you name it, Binny's, you could grab it. But Della is definitely a winner. If you see this one, you have to put it in the carts. All right, that's going to wrap things up for this edition of Beer in Front. I thank you very much for listening. I want to thank once again Abby George, the co-owner of Barrels and Bottles, and also they're hosting the great Krispy King Lager Competition. That's going to be held Wednesday, the 9th of October. So you got to check that out if you're in Denver area or you're heading to the Great American Beer Festival. Be sure to check out Krispy King. Have a great week, everyone. I will talk to you next week. And remember, sometimes the beer in front of you is the best one yet.